let's have an overview of the framework, and I'll show you a pretty picture in just a while. It provides an industry position, we've said that already, that recognises that skills of capable managers will apply in complex and changing circumstances. I just want to talk to the word capable. Someone says, oh, you're a competent manager or you're a capable manager. It may seem, words are very important, it may seem perhaps to some that they're like boring descriptors and they're not exciting leadership words. However, they do describe how capable managers at a sector level will be able to operate now, should they upskill if they need to, be brought into organisations with those capabilities, with the underpinning organisational competencies, and or be trained or recruited to come into the industry totally. And so a capable manager is a good word in relation to this particular framework. It means good things. Capability means able to apply your decision making in complex and changing circumstances. And you'll see that picked up implicitly and explicitly in the framework itself. Now, the key thing here is that the model is built around the customer or the resident experience at the centre, so that management decisions and actions are always, and I emphasise always, undertaken through the lens of the resident. Now, Alistair, where are you in the crowd? There you go, my friend. We had several amazing hours with Alistair, and one of the many face-to-face unstructured interviews that we did in the 4-month process of developing this particular framework for RLC. And really, it came back to start at the beginning, didn't it, Alistair? Which is the resident is the beginning. Sure, everyone knows it, but for goodness sake, put it in a model that shows that. I hope I'm interpreting what you told us correctly. Good, big nod there from Alistair. So when we did then further workshop this with other people, we got some comments like, oh, if the resident's at the centre and we have to look at every single decision that we make tactically and in day to day, well, how can we possibly look through the lens of the resident? We've got budgets, we've got owners, we've got work to do. That's impossible. And again, this is a conceptual construct, which is if you place yourself in the position where the resident is genuinely at the centre of decision making, that decision making can occur in a nanosecond. That decision making can occur in a strategic session. That decision making or dialogue can happen in talking to staff, onboarding staff, and importantly, it also, of course, happens in welcoming residents into the village, of keeping residents in the village, of talking to families of residents, the whole shooting match. So, in the middle of the model, it's a round model, so I'll tell you that to start with. Now, we came up with 7 domains. That's original wording. I mean, the word domain isn't original, but to this model, there are 7 domains. And these domains were created, morphed, remorphed over time as the capable behaviours, tactical and strategic actions that need to be undertaken were teased out, refocused again, and we said, no, there's a nice set of clusterings that come into 7 domains. 7's a handy number because people, interestingly, take more notice. Did you know that, of the number 7 things? I wrote a book called The 7 Heavenly Virtues of Leadership back in the mid-2000s, and edited it and produced it. And the publisher said, well, we've got to put in, virtuous leadership because there's 7 deadly sins, so we need to have 7 virtuous leadership attributes. There is, in fact, no equal and opposite construct in the Bible, is there? But nevertheless, I said, oh, do we have to? He said, but listen, the word 7 will overpower everything. There is psychological research that says 7 is the thing that people listen to. I'm just here to tell you that these domains fell nicely into 7 clusters. Okay, the context, this is not the model, the context before we get there is that it is the environment, political, legal, social, economic, technological, commercial. It is the organisation, their systems and processes already in place, and it is the individual, how competent they are already on the job with their range of skills and attributes. Competency versus capability in terms of the approaches. Competency is viewed as the individual's necessary and required skills, knowledge and ability to deliver the organisation's current needs. Whereas capability in this context focuses on an organisation or industry or sector approach that describes the generic ability to develop and flex to meet future needs. Right, there is a relationship to the 8-point plan, and there it is, point 4, to improve training and professional support for village managers, salespeople and other staff who engage directly with current and potential residents. You'll get these PowerPoint slides later. There is an alignment to the Code of Conduct. There are many alignments, but specifically number 2, regulation that creates high and consistent standards regarding the marketing, sales and operations of retirement communities that are above and beyond statutory obligations. Okay, this is the model. See the customer or the resident at the centre? This is about their experience and the lens through which the decision maker or the organisation would look at the resident and what their needs are, what their familial needs are in relation to the services that they're offering. The 7 domains, and we'll start up the top there in operations, governance and compliance, self-management, change and innovation, community engagement, and population wellness. The 7th one there in green is sales professionalism. That is there because there is an interface on many, many, many occasions, and there should be, between village management and sales professionalism or sales management. The whole point about this model is that it is not discrete. There are components under each one that are described. There's 7 components under operations, 6 under governance, etc., 5 under population wellness, in greater detail, and will be in the packs that you guys will get as this is rolled out. So this is just really a taster to say something exists. It is an original model. It is owned by the sector. It consists of 7 domains, 40 components, and it talks about now and in the future for capability. I'm just really pleased to hear Lynn this morning, and she concentrated on a couple of the areas that were here. Change and innovation, didn't she? Talked about that a lot. And community engagement. And in community engagement, there's that whole social engagement piece. I've got little definitions here. I'm going to flick through those. I already had them just in case we need to refer to them. Okay, where to from here? Well, as I said, the industry has its own original framework. It's not a cut and paste job. It was built from the ground up. It contains words which you've all heard and phraseologies which you've all read, but it does it in the context of the sector and for the sector. So it is actually original. Every one of the domains has its own definition, and every one of the 40 components has its own definition. And those definitions aren't out of Wikipedia or a management book. They are germane to the sector. It can inform current operators who may have a huge degree of sophistication or a lesser degree of application because the industry is so diverse. It can be used as a gap analysis tool for those operators or new operators who are coming into the market. It can be authentically included in submissions to regulators, governments, and other sectors to demonstrate real intent and authenticity. And it will feed into a certification process, different than an accreditation process, for village managers and sales professionals, so that personal credentialing is one of the next steps forward. It's raising the management bar. So, ladies and gentlemen, I had the sum total of 18 minutes to just give you a taster of this. We've rushed through it, but you will be getting more extensive packs. And I really we will set up a way that we can look at sort of general feedback and how this has flowed out. But I hope that's given you a view. I'll just go back with my little clicker of put my big model up there as a goodbye. That's the model. That's what it looks like. And beneath it, there's a bunch of work that I think is going to really raise the bar for this sector. So thank you very much for listening to me.